Sponsored by
PhD, MPhil किसी भी विषय में डिप्लोमा के अनेक अवसर है RKDF यूनिवर्सिटी में एडमिशन्स ओपन।
Initially, what seemed to be an acknowledgment of India's balancing act of managing diplomatic relations with Russia in averting the escalation of Russia-Ukraine war, the United States is now miffed by the warm embrace between Russian President Vladimir Putin and Prime Minister Narendra Modi. In fact, US Ambassador to India Eric Garcetti, while expressing dismay, warned India against taking the US-India ties for granted, maintaining that there is no such thing as strategic autonomy in times of conflict. Earlier on Wednesday, White House spokesperson Karine Jean-Pierre stated that the US acknowledges India's strategic partnership with Russia, through which it has been able to bring peace to the region and gradually bring an end to the Ukrainian war.
That India is a strategic partner with whom we engage in full and frank dialogue, including their relationship with Russia. And we've talked about this before. So we think it's critical that all countries, including India, support efforts to realize an enduring and just peace when it comes to Ukraine. It is important for all our allies to realize this.
However, while speaking at the Defense News Conclave organized by Cuts International on Thursday, in a threatening undertone, US Ambassador Garcetti urged New Delhi to take action against war machine and side with the US, claiming that the world must not just stand for peace but take concrete actions. India is currently on a global stage where it does not need other nations to lecture or advise it on foreign policy. The US, which is now scrambling the words of Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, who expressed his disappointment over PM Modi's Russia visit, failed to take the note of India's direct appeal to the Russian president to end the Ukrainian war. India's stance on the war was clearly conveyed by PM Modi that no solution could be achieved in the battleground, urging both Russia and Ukraine to choose the path of dialogue and diplomacy to put an end to the waging war. Similarly, while in Austria, the PM reiterated the stance, stressing that India has given Buddha to the world, not Yodha or war, implicating that the country always stands for peace and prosperity.
हजारों वर्षों से हम दुनिया के साथ नॉलेज और एक्सपर्टाइज शेयर करते रहे। हमने युद्ध नहीं दिए, हम सीना तान करके दुनिया को कह सकते हैं, हिंदुस्तान ने युद्ध नहीं, बुद्ध दिए हैं।
In fact, several experts on Friday underscored that US diplomats overlooked several critical aspects of India's diplomatic stance. Former diplomat Kanwal Sibal, who said Garcetti's remark had a threatening undertone, took a swipe at the US, calling out its double standards, noting that the US should not overplay its hand vis-a-vis India. He added that the US ties with India should not restrict India's foreign policy choices when the US accepts no such restriction at all on its choices. Meanwhile, geopolitical analyst Colonel Rohit Dev said that as India does not agree with all of the wars that the US gets into, India too has its own geopolitical commitments and national interests to cater to and sometimes vote differently on global platforms, keeping its national interests first. He also underlined that while the US hasn't gone in with boots into Ukraine, it is seemingly playing a war through proxy with Russia, whereas India is retaining its relationships with Russia and Ukraine using diplomacy to end the war. However, an insecure US, also a habitual lecturer, failed to note that these stances by India but instead continued to express its concerns. US National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan cautioned New Delhi that a bet on Russia as a long-term reliable partner is not a good bet, and outlined that Moscow would side with Beijing over New Delhi in case of a conflict.